Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
No, ini bara.
Alright, okay. Welcome.
Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah, that's
what the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's fine.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone very relaxed. So it's okay, so that I can understand. It's very relaxed.
Nina Fanny say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adum na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame. Until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukangotin telkang. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Yes, thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and you're watching what?
Yeah.
And you want to Gambia. Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay.
Yes.
I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya kumandiroke 7527218. Wale futan na website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Hello and welcome to another special interview here on Kerr Fatou. Badingongal bismillah na Kerr Fatou program oton kamina tale wato wati nyumu special interview leti nejem ko special interview. August 23rd, 1996, UDP was registered as a political party. molu kafuta nyoka ye patio register. This was at a very crucial time in the history of this country, 1996, just after the military takeover. 23 years today, opportunity soto puruning party leader, secretary general and party leader Honorable Darboe. Na kacha sanji mwani sabakabo kabriya register lumena for B UDP mune soto UDP muneke and in fact some of the policies what UDP government will look like. I think it's important to have this interview. Honorable Darboe, first and foremost, congratulations and welcome to Kerr Fatou.
Well, thank you very much.
Joining us, the United Democratic family, on this very auspicious occasion, the 23rd birthday of the United Democratic Party. It's been 23 years, of course. It's not too long a time in the life of a political party. But in the context of Gambia, 23 years was a very long period. It was a period of uncertainty, a period marked by brutality, a period marked by all vices that you can think of. And, the growth of democracy was being stifled, and UDP stood out there as the bulwark against dictatorship. And of course, it has its consequences. And those consequences have been there in very, very, in virtually every circumstance.
So we'll come to a lot of that, because I know we have watched the TRRC, we have seen just some of the things that the party went through from your own testimony and also some of the militants. But I want us to go back through memory lane. What do you remember about the setting up 1996? What would you tell us about how the party was set up? Who came together?
Well, in August 1996, I returned from the Atlanta Olympic Games, and before my return, patriotic Gambians concerned with the plight of the country had got together to form an organization. Then it was nameless, but it was a political organization. Prominent among these people were the late Jallo Sane, the late Kerr Fatou, the late Sam Silla, the late Sidi Asanyang, and thank God, Alajob Kante was one of the founding members of the party. He's alive. Ahmad Kora was also one of the founding members of the party. He's alive. And several other people of goodwill for the Gambia got together and formed this organization and invited me to lead it. Of course, as is customary in the Gambia, a venture such as politics, one just doesn't get involved in it without really getting the blessing and the support of the family. Because when the chips are down, you're left with the family. And my consultations with the family resulted in positive reactions from every member of the family. Quarters that I expected resistance readily supported me, and then of course I reported back to the people who were putting the party together. I reported back to them that I would accept the leadership of the United Democratic Party, and I still remember the place we call VQ in Banjul. My office, my law office, is in that premises. When I break the news, it was about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. When I break the news, Jalo Sane was by my side. Sidia Sanya was by my side. Keba Jame, all these people, they were all on my side. And I had an interview with BBC, and one of their questions was whether I was taking an unnecessary risk.
Yeah, so I wanted to come there actually. At this point, it was just almost 2 years after the military took over. And we also got to know that a lot of people were actually invited to lead the party, and all of them refused. What motivated you at that point to accept leadership of the party?
I say, I felt that those people who approached me couldn't have done so without a reason. And it was an honor to be called upon to serve your country. And that really motivated me. But what really served as the compelling reason was when I was going to Banza, I stopped at Soma to fill my vehicle, petrol, and at the station, a gentleman came on his motor bicycle with thick beard, and he came, stopped by me, and said, "Follow your Darboe Tenjintibang." And I said to him, and tell him. I said, "Ikana molla jikotinya. Ikana molla jikotinya. Ikana molla jikotinya." And then tears started rolling down. And I felt that this really, when he says Kanamolo, that was not referring to one individual, to himself, but to several other people. And I kept debating within myself before I arrived at Pansa and said, "But look, can I afford to really disappoint the people?" Because this is what the gentleman was telling me, that look, don't do that. And what would have been the consequences of my rejection? I think I would have been ashamed of myself if I did reject it. But my parents, the entire family was in support of me, and that really gratified me that I am not disappointing that gentleman.
And then, at that point, I also wanted to bring the family dimension, which you had also mentioned, but you were one of the biggest lawyers in the country at that time. Did you knew that leading a party like the UDP could have cost you everything that it costed you? Like, you were the lawyers for major parastatals in the country, and that cost you a lot. Did you imagine it would have gone that far? Would you have done it even though?
Well, yeah, I would have done it because when I gave that interview to BBC, I said, look, I am aware of the vicissitudes of life, and that I take this onerous task, knowing fully well that I am being exposed to a lot of dangers, not only losing clientele, but also I'm exposing myself to physical harm. But I felt that I cannot really give my back to the call of the Gambian people, to be of service to the people of the Gambia. I can't afford to reject it. In fact, even before I was called upon to lead United Democratic Party, I had started losing clients. I was Gamtia's lawyer.
Yeah.
But because I had appeared before the Williams Commission when Gamtel was being investigated, had appeared before the Williams Commission to show that my client, Gamtel, was not involved with Bakari Njai and Abdullah Kebe in any dubious deals. Because I had gone to represent my client. Because my client's reputation, Gamtel, was an issue. But then, the government then felt that I was defending Bakari Njai and Abdullah Kebe. So my retainer with Gamtel was taken away, even before United Democratic Party was formed.
Wow.
And so was my retainer with Social Security. So when it came, after I had gone into politics, it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me at all.
So let's talk about the gallant men and women who gathered August 23rd to set up the party. Tell us about some of these people.
There was Ajajambandin Rami, the first national president of the Women's Wing. Of course, there was Ajaratu Mariam Jack Denton, current Speaker of the National Assembly. There was Fat Second. There was Ajasukainaka. And far out in the provinces, in Soma, was people like Nyimadin Fadera. These were women of courage, women who were prepared to suffer anything for the Gambia. And of course, if they did not suffer physically, they suffered emotionally. Yes. So I want to pay tribute to them, that without them, the UTB wouldn't have come this far. It was their counsel, their support, not only support in terms of taking part in campaigns and going on track, but also they put in the little finances they had. So there were several others who really followed in their path.
23 years today, what would you say is UDP's biggest achievement as a party?
Well, UDP's biggest achievement as a party, I think we can catalog them. We can catalog them. I don't think there's any single achievement that you can say that's the biggest. But you can catalog these achievements. Some of them would appear to be tragic, but nonetheless, they are achievements. And one that stands out very prominently among these is the Solo Sunday March on the 14th of April 2016. It is this most single outstanding achievement of UDP. It was tragic, but then that tragedy produced results. And the results it produced couldn't have happened if Solo Sanden hadn't gone out in the streets. And Solo Sanden went out into the streets because of his belief that what United Democratic Party stood for and continues to stand for is what is in the interest of the Gambia. If you catalog them, I think I would give prime of place to that.
And then after a long fight, you just mentioned the Solo Sunday March in 2016, even though you have said it several times, Solo went out not just for UDP, but he went out for the Gambia, but he was a UDP member. After a long fight, of course, you and the executive went to jail, and that gave birth to the new Gambia. Is this the new Gambia that Solo Sunday was fighting for?
Well, it's not the complete new Gambia that Solo Sunday was fighting for. Because one thing that he was asking for is that let there be electoral reforms. I don't think he just wanted the voting system to be changed from marble to ballot people. I want to see the entire electoral law overhauled. The entire electoral law streamlined so that you can weed out voters or people who are not entitled to register. You can weed them out. You want to have a well sanitized voter register. You want to have a campaign that is free from violence, campaigns that are free from insults, campaigns that are free from corruption, bribery. The Election Act calls them inducements, but this is what you want to really, these are the things that you really want to make sure that they do not exist in the country. And unfortunately, we have not had yet the IEC come out to tell us to what extent reforms in the Elections Act, to what extent they have gone. We have the ballot box. Well, yeah, ballot box, and of course there are varying views about that, whether Gambia right now, whether we are ready for it or not. I know that, at least I know one country in West Africa believes that the ballot drum, the token, is really foolproof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although my only thing about the ballot drum is if the diaspora voting is to take place, how do you address that? That's my only. But I'm not bothered about the number of candidates. After all, for democracy, you have to invest in it.
Are you worried about the paper balloting though? They said what is doing well for us.
People have to be well sensitized in it, about it. Do we have enough time for it? That's my order. Otherwise, I would say it's okay. But then I think you have to adequately sensitize people on it. So it's just not to say that, look, show paper with parties have their colours and their candidates on it, and then you tick or thumbprint. I don't know, whatever is going to happen. I don't think that's it, because I fear that there might be a lot of what I call it, wasted ballot papers, invalid. You may have invalid ballot
especially
papers.
A lot of folks are not educated.
Educated.
Yeah. So you just spoke about reforms that Solo Sandeng wanted when he went out to ask for electoral reforms. People will argue that you are the party leader of the United Democratic Party. Your party has majority National Assembly members in the Assembly. Why is the UDP not leading some of these reform agendas in the Assembly? Because you have the majority of your parliamentarians. Why are you not leading some of these? If it's being slowed by either the government or the necessary offices, why is the National Assembly under the leadership of the UDP not pushing these agendas?
Well, I think it's a legitimate question, but then we also have to go back to 2016. It was the coalition 2016, that had made reform of the electoral laws, the constitution and agenda. So that agenda, the government should champion it. That agenda, the government should champion it. I want to tell you one thing that I know. Some few years ago, UDP as a party and DOI, with other parties were also, but I know that DOI and UDP made comprehensive submissions for reform of the elections laws. So we already have material that we can present to the national. But since it is the agenda of the coalition, I think we want the coalition government to deal with it, and that is why I'm saying that the IEC should really do something about it, and the IEC can do something about it only if the government, really takes the lead, as it has done with the constitutional review. I think the same thing ought to have been done as far as the Elections Act are concerned.
The reason why I bring this up, though, it seems like the CRC, we are not sure if it's going to be ready by election, whether 2021 or otherwise. But if that is not ready, that means we are still going to vote on the same laws that we have. If the National Assembly, who is majority of whom are UDP members, if they're able to put some of these things on the table, it should be easily passed. Because I know that almost all the parties agree that some of our laws should be changed.
Well, I'm very optimistic that the CRC will conclude this assignment on time, and that the necessary legislative mechanisms will be put in place so that we have a constitution that the Gambians have thought about. I think it will be very disappointing to everybody if we have to go to elections on the 1997 Constitution. I think it will be very disappointing, but I don't think that will happen. But if as we move on towards the election year, there are indications that the CRC might not come out with the Constitution as we wish. Certain salient sections of the Constitution, UDP will certainly introduce amendments to those ones, like the term limit.
Like term limit?
Like the term limit.
And what else?
Like second round of voting. Oh yes.
So
UDP will definitely introduce bills to amend those ones, so that at least we can go to elections to know that the term of the president is circumscribed. There can be no efforts by anyone to perpetuate himself in power. You know that, after 2 years, 2 terms or 5 years, you quit. Under any circumstance, whatever happens, you'll quit. And of course, there has been clamor for what they call absolute majority. Yeah. So if you introduce second round of voting, that is going to ensure that, and I think these are critical. And of course, also the Elections Act will look at the introduce amendments defining in no uncertain term qualifications for one to register as a voter. What one needs to present. I personally do not believe that the production of a birth certificate should qualify anybody to register as a voter. I believe that a birth certificate is just evidence of a place of birth, not evidence of citizenship. Yeah.
So what is UDP's position, especially in dual citizens, people who are not born in the Gambia, to be able to be citizenship, to have citizenship in the country? What did you present to the CRC?
Well, we certainly any person who wishes to take up Gambian nationality, Gambian citizenship, we welcome that, and particularly for women who are married to Gambians, my view is that those women have evinced their intention to live in the Gambia, to live with their husband in the Gambia. So if they should apply to the Minister of Interior or Minister responsible for Citizens Affairs to register, I think there should be no problem about that. I think, if I do remember, I think I said that we said that, look, if 3 years should be sufficient time.
What about children who are born in the Gambia but to non-Gambians?
Well, children who are born in the Gambia to non-Gambians, we would want for them to be if they are not, to be naturalized.
So they can
because we still want citizenship is such an important issue, that you just don't make it, easily attainable. I mean, what you have to derive your right as citizen from one of your parents. From one of them. That's what we believe.
So let's look at UDP. What would a UDP government look like? I mean, a lot of people said the current government just few months ago was a UDP government, but
what government is it now?
I mean, now
it should have a description.
I mean,
it should have. If we could describe it as a UDP government,
I mean, it was
a few months ago.
I mean, a few months ago.
Now,
including myself.
What description do you give to the current government?
Including myself, a few months ago, I called it a UDP government.
I agree.
Because you had more share of the coalition, your members in the government, and I called it a UDP government. But now I don't know what government to call it right now. I don't know what would you call it?
No, I don't know. Because I never call that. I never call the government a UDP government. I call it the coalition government.
Yeah. Is it still a coalition government?
Well, of course, it is a coalition government, although not comprising of all parties. But then there are still other members of the coalition. There's NRP, there's PPP.
Yeah,
they are there. So, and of course, there's the independent presidential aspirant.
Yeah.
So I'll still call it a coalition government. But I think what a UDP government, what you say, what a UDP
would look like.
A UDP
especially
government,
in terms of policies, because a lot of people say, we don't know a clear-cut UDP's policy on education, on agriculture, on all of these things. People say that your party is more about personality driven. It's more all about you as a person, and a lot of people say we don't hear a lot of policy agenda policy. What is going to be UDP's policy on education and agriculture?
Let me tell you, for instance, agriculture. UDP believes strongly that for agriculture to really drive the country's economy, because we believe that agriculture is the backbone of the country's economy.
Yeah.
I think believe that we should zonalize this country. And when we talk of agriculture, we talk of agriculture in all its branches. Now, we believe that the West Coast region, so really we should devote a lot of our energy and resources to having good horticultural farms and provide export markets for them. I believe that North Bank region, Darboe areas and so forth, you really would need to concentrate on groundnut production. In the CRR, believe that we should concentrate on rice production, feed the nation, and in URR cotton. Produce cotton, and in fact, for West Coast, it could be both fruit farming and horticultural activities. Because so that the resources that will have to apply to developing horticulture, can be concentrated in one area. You just don't start thinking, I give 5% to West Coast region, 15% to URR, and so forth. But that is what we believe. And we believe that you just don't have to you just don't produce, but you should also add value to your products. When I talked about fruit farming, with serious fruit farming carried out in the West Coast region, believe that can result in the establishment of canning factories, fruit canning factories. Mango, for instance. How much mango do we get wasted every year? Yeah. But then there has to be a serious effort by the government to really make those products beneficial to those who produce them. And of course, those farmers would certainly not be in a financial position to undertake their agricultural activities without government assistance, without government intervention. Therefore, an agricultural development bank that we used to have, I think should come back. And its management properly controlled, not politicized. You don't give a loan to Fatou because Fatou is UDP. You forget the customer's political affiliation and investigate more into his business proposals, how viable it is. I think that's what we need. How many years we've been, I would say, doing some kind of quote-unquote pilot projects in CRR, in Wasu area, Kuntauru. How many years? Should we now not be in a position to feed ourselves? Jahal Pachar. We've heard about Jahal Pachar since I was going to school. But I don't think successive governments have been very serious about it. We've been serious talking about it, but we've not been serious taking any action on it. And obviously, I know if the Gambian farmers have the opportunity, they have the means, they will do as well as other farmers in other parts of the world, particularly those in the rice production region. Yeah, there was some time ago, people in Bansang weren't buying the tubab mano. This was very recent. We weren't buying in the 70s, even 80s. We weren't buying the tubab mano. We harvest 3 times in the year. But then, when Yahya Jammeh came in, he killed agriculture. What was to be invested in agriculture, he took it to Kanilai under the pretext of going back to the land? I don't know, whatever jargon.
To the land, yeah.
Whatever jargon he had. So, and I want to say that those who say that they do not understand, maybe they have not taken the time to read our manifestos, or they have not taken, or they have not been attentive in listening to what we say. But of course, do I expect anything other than that from my opponents? That's what I expect from them. This is the way to really alienate us from people. But I think it is absolutely wrong. And I want to say, Madam, that if we were just engaged, quote unquote, in politics of personalities, everything about to say in Darboe, I can assure you that by the day, the class of people that joined UDP by the day wouldn't have happened.
So, but a lot of people said for 23 years, the UDP has just been under one leadership.
Has been?
It's under one leadership. Since you took over, you've been the Secretary General and party leader up to now. In fact, most of the time on challenge. Why is that? And then you called UDP a democratic party.
Well, that's right. It's a legitimate observation. But you see, in 1996, those people who were approached, why did they not accept leadership? People were approached in 1996 before I was approached. but they rejected. You know? And of course, you know, the hostile political environment that made them reject the invitation to lead the United Democratic Party continued until 2016, when Jammeh was voted out. And the truth is that United Democratic Party was the party that was a threat to Jammeh's APRC. So anybody leading that party, you are exposing us to greater danger than leading any other political party. But now, it's a free country. I think the atmosphere, the environment, very accommodating. Yeah. I have been calling for youths and women to come in. And I have made a promise that 2021 is the year of transition for the UDP. So it's left for whether youths or centurions.
What do you mean if you say 2021 is a way of transition for the youths, for UDP? What do you mean by that?
I mean that's the time, that's the year that, you know,
the youths will take over?
That let them come in and take over.
Are you ready to give the baton to the younger people to lead the party?
You see, I'm not a populist politician. I don't make statements because I want to look nice in the face of people. Whatever I say, I mean it. And you could see the age bracket of our National Assembly members. You can count on your fingertips those who are more than 45. And I can say Keke Barrow, Madi Sise, Matar Jang, and maybe Alaji Silla, Nyani. Other than that, they are all young people. They are all young people. Look at our local government, look at our mayors and chairmen. Rahilo, young person, young woman. Landin Bisane, young man. Danjo. It may be it's a Sane who's about 45. And of course Talib. And Bojang. They are young people. So these are indications of United Democratic Party's preparedness and willingness to hand over power or the mantle of leadership to the young people.
And you mentioned the councils. I was going to come there. People would say UDP is more of a parallel government, if you call it. I don't know, because you control all councils, and also you have majority in the National Assembly. And this is just going to give us an idea as to how a UDP government will look like. For example, if Landin Bisane is not doing well in LRR, if Basse is not doing well, this will give us an insight as to what UDP government is looking like.
Absolutely, it's a good comment.
Is it a risk for you in the next election?
It's not a risk for us in the next elections, because we know that these councils are performing well. They are delivering in the manner expected of them. All the councils that the UDP heads. Of course, I mean, the Greater Banjul area, see what is happening in the Greater Banjul area. Yeah? In fact, I did say, I think it was our rally in Wellingara, that what is happening in the councils is an indication of what a UDP government will do as a central government. Just a few minutes ago, you mentioned some of the hardship the party went through,
In fact, during your testimony and so many other militants at the TRRC gave us an insight as to some of the struggles the party went through, how militants were threatened, were tortured, at the point some had to lose their lives. But what kept you guys fighting? What kept the ordinary, not even you, but the ordinary Gambian fighting? I watched this particular woman who came from the CRR up country, and
Tata Kamara.
Tata Kamara.
Yes, yes.
And during her testimony, she never gave up, and she kept on continuing to fight, even after going through everything that she went through. What did you think was the reason why these ordinary folks continue fighting, never gave up on the party?
They believe in the principle of the United Democratic Party. They believe in the mission of the United Democratic Party, that come what may, we have assigned ourselves the mission of liberating this country from the clutches of the dictator. And this we are going to do. That is that time. And it kept them alive. You know, the lady from Soma, Bintani Kaketa, Kaketa, you know, the horrendous treatment she went through. Those kept them alive. That's what kept us alive. Yeah? People like Single Nyasi, yeah? The terrible things done to them. People whose private parts, you know, were subjected to electric shocks, you know, and subjected to all manner of humiliation and torture. Yeah? Notwithstanding that, they kept on that UDP will certainly prevail in this country, and because they believe in it. Look, we at one time considered ourselves as a freedom movement, and we are likening ourselves to the ANC, that come what may, you know, will not relent. We are out there for the Gambia, come rain, come sunshine, we will definitely move on.
So after all of this fight, though, Honorable, after all of this fight, it seems like the UDP is divided today than it has been. It has been a strong movement in the past 22 years, but today the UDP is seen as very divided. Some of the key members of the party has left. In fact, speaking to some of them, this is what they say: we cannot continue to be opposition for the rest of our lives. We have worked so hard to be where we are today. We produced the UDP candidate who became the UDP president. Why does the leadership want to still be an opposition to somebody that we provided? And that is why today a lot of people are seeing the UDP as very divided and losing support from your core members, people who had never given their back to the party. But today
You say the core support of UDP is there. You know? The core support of UDP is still there. You know? And when you talk of that key members of UDP, I don't know who these key members of UDP are. Because I don't know anybody of the like of Lamin Diba, who is known throughout nationally. The like of Kemis and Jame, Modsani. Those are key people. I just kind of car. You mean somebody who is a chairman in a ward, a village, considered a key?
Your elected members, Honorable, it's evident even elected members of the UDP have not deserted the party.
No, the point is that, you know, I don't know which elected member has deserted the party. I don't want to say that A, B has deserted the party. But one thing I want to tell you is that the majority of the members that are elected, that are in the National Assembly, the majority are in the UDP. But what I want to say is that those people were not even known in the UDP. They were not known in the UDP. I mean, some of them saw an opportunity to become a member of the National Assembly. See? I want to be very, very honest in my statement. You see, nobody could have doubted that Mr. Toure of Woolly East, his membership of DOI. Nobody could have doubted that. Mr. Silla of Banjul North. Because people knew them in the UDP. I'm sorry, in DOI.
Yeah.
Before they contested the election to become members of the National Assembly. But there are several of the UDP whom I did not know personally. Maybe there might be not more than 5 or 10. So to say that these are UDP, I think if, especially those whom you consider, I don't know who they are, but whom you believe are deserting UDP, then their membership of UDP was questionable. Those who, from deception, are UDP, I don't think any of them is deserting. And I want to again say that UDP is stronger today than it was in 2016 because the average Gambian believes in what you call cholera. The average Gambian believes in Horomo. The average Gambian believes in that. So when you behave in a way that is considered as really opportunistic and so forth, they give it back. Honestly, as I tell you, we are growing in leaps and bounds. Yeah? The type of people, class of people that come to me to pledge their support, I mean, it's very gratifying. And I start them to go, oh my God, yes, social, all these people, and young people, all these people. So really, we have, we would have very effective National Assembly members. We'll have very effective and good young ministers in the next UDP government.
In the next...
because you said that government was UDP government, that's why I'm saying in the next one also.
In the next one also. So are you saying 2021 is going to be a UDP government?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. A lot of people said, though, you're losing grip of your people, especially...
Which people?
For example, when the chairman of Western Region openly denounced and so pledged allegiance to the president, and he's an elected member, that is worrying.
No. Well, yes. It's not worrying to us because we know that the grassroots, our support as the grassroots, is intact. That is what is important. He has openly stated that he is a Barrow.
Yeah.
He's a Barrow movement.
In my show, he said it.
Yeah, he says so. Good luck to him. But of course, for the last time, will he be chairman? In fact, for the last time, will he be a councillor?
For the last time?
For the last time, will he be a councillor?
Meaning he will not be voted?
Who is going to vote for him? UDP voted him. He got the support of UDP. UDP voted him. The Nogonjais, the Bajamba Bojans. Yeah? These are the people who campaigned for him. They are the ones who made him win. So, I mean, if he decides to go to cross carpet, well and good for him, whether to a movement or to a party, well and good. We have no qualms about that. We appreciate it, and of course, the time is ticking. We're getting closer. I know that he consoles himself with the fact that, well, if he's not put up as a candidate, he'll get appointment, maybe in the diplomatic service. But if the person who gives the diplomatic appointment, if he's there, that's the time.
If he's there.
If he's there, that's the time you can think of being compensated by diplomatic appointment. And I want to tell you here, in no uncertain term, that 2021, it will be a UDP presidential candidate that is going to win the elections in this country.
So you are telling us 2021,
2021
UDP
is
candidate.
the UDP presidential candidate that is going to win the elections.
Wow.
I'm telling you that.
So
whoever that candidate
is going to win.
He's going to win.
Why are you so sure about that, though?
Because I know the country. I have gone about the country. You see, Gambians were abstaining from polls because they were afraid. And I hear some cheap argument. APRC got this, UDP got that. So, you see, but they've forgotten that in the North Bank region, in the National Assembly election, UDP cleared everything. I just want to give one example. Lower Badibu. The strong man there was Suku Singate.
For APR.
For APRC.
For APRC, yeah.
And the second party in strength there was UDP. Now, Suku Singate's APRC voters plus UDP voters in that area puts UDP ahead of any party. So you see, they come up with
incumbency also in politics. Incumbency matters a lot.
Incumbency matters
a lot.
Incumbency matters, but we are not going to allow anybody to misuse incumbency in this country. Abuse incumbency is that's a thing of the past. That's a thing of the past. That is one of the things that Solo Sandem was fighting against.
But we have
and
not changed.
That is why.
But we have not changed any of the laws, though.
No, we have not changed any of the laws.
Because the president still enjoys that.
We are not going to enjoy. We have not changed any of the laws. But an immoral law, we are going to resist. And this is a warning that Gambian people are not going to be bogged down by those, unjustified laws, unconscionable laws. Because you want to perpetuate yourself in power, we will resist it. We'll make the country ungovernable for you during that period. There's no doubt about that. You just have to carry on your politics decently without misusing any law. You do that, yes, we all fight, because that's the level playing field. But we are going to resist it.
In fact, someone said to me, in fact, I have said this to, I think whether it was you or Honorable Diba in my last interview, that the critics are saying, since the president relieved you of your cabinet appointments, you are trying to make the government ungovernable for him. And we have seen that into play right now. And this is what critics have been saying. Is that what the UDP is doing right now?
How have I made the country ungovernable?
Every single day having rallies and throwing jabs at the president, and the president also responding instead of concentrating on issues.
Madam Toure, we form a political party for what? You fought for a party because you want to recruit people into membership. And we carry on our rallies so that we can attract people into membership of the party. What's bad about that? If the president or anybody is worried about that, then do the same thing. So they would be abdicating their responsibility if they concentrate on politics and not governance. I have nothing, in fact, other than supporting, and I've said that we support the government in every aspect, everything that is good for the country. What? Because we are doing our rally in Darboe or doing one in Basse, that distracting government, well, be it. If that is so, we'll continue to do so. Because we don't want that government to continue, to come back to the office. So we'll continue to do that.
So UDP's agenda is they don't want that government back in power in 2021?
Absolutely. We want a UDP government. So what do you do to have a UDP government? You have to go on, organizing yourself, having meetings all around. In fact, right now, as I talk to you now, we have regional tours. In fact, when I leave here, I'm going to attend one of the meetings, in a constituency in KMC. Yeah? So what's the big deal about that? So if people are if the government is worried about that, and our critics are worried about that, then they will continue to be worried about that because we are not relenting. As I said, if we have the resources, I will organize a rally every weekend. If we have the resources.
So a lot of people said this is something that even though you are very open to speaking your mind or addressing issues, one thing that the UDP as a party has not addressed up to now is this 3 years Jotna, which is building up a lot of momentum. And you have been blamed. I'm just going to put all this out there for you. Number one, a lot of critics say these are UDP supporters who the UDP is supporting behind the scene, and they pioneering this because they don't want the president. They don't want president to win in the next election. So in order to do that is to form this 3 years Jotna to get him out of government in December, so that a caretaker person takes over, and when we come to election, the avenue is clear for all of them. Number one. Number two, others say when you were in government, when things were good with the president, you openly said you want the president should rule until December 2021, and in fact, if anybody challenges him, you will take them to court. People said that was what emboldened Barrow to push the agenda that he was going to go for 2021. But yet, DOI has come out recently to address the 3 years Jotna. They have made their position clear. Even Mama Kande, who was not part of the coalition, has made his position clear. NRP has. All of the parties have.
What is NRP's position?
I mean, NRP, in fact, I had Ahmad Ba on my show last Thursday, and what he exactly said was all the reform agendas are not ready, and it will just be right for the president to continue for 2021. That's what his party's position is. And every other party has addressed this. UDP is a major stakeholder in this. You have made your individual opinion known. Why is the UDP running away from this decision, to make this decision? December is around the corner. And people are saying UDP is behind this movement. Is it true that UDP is behind this movement
Let
and
me say
scared
that,
to bring out their position? Are you scared to bring out your position?
Let me say that is factual nonsense. That is factual nonsense.
But why are you not addressing it?
No. When did DOI come out with this?
A few weeks ago. Yeah.
They met. Yeah. I think they had a meeting.
Yeah.
Somewhere in URR, and probably I'm not sure whether they took a decision there. Probably took a decision there. Right. People impatient about UDP's consultative mechanism. Nobody is going to rush us into making a pronouncement when we are not ready. Well, and I've said that UDP will make a pronouncement on their position, and we don't care whose ox is God. We are going to make our pronouncement. And to say that I emboldened Barrow, I don't think that is correct. I have tried to explain in my interview with Sheriff Bojang. Look, the Barrow contesting for the next elections, was already an agenda that he was pushing. That is why when you had the coalition, the election victory, the celebrations in December 2017, we saw T-shirts coming out. Not coalition, but Barrow. And prior to that, the Barrow Youth Movement was launched in Semegajane Hall. And anybody who is an observer of the political scene cannot miss the fact that something was building up. Of course, you see the president then was going around various mosques praying.
Yeah.
And all that was to garner support. And wherever they went, secretly, somebody will meet the community leader. And I was being informed. I was being informed. Yeah? When he bought motor bicycles to give to our chairman, I would say clandestinely, because he never informed us, the executive. All that was prepared. So I didn't embolden him. He was on his way preparing for himself. And when I spoke what the law says, and nothing more than that. And I didn't say that he should really, what I was saying that any use of force. I said that is not right.
But it seems
use
like
of force, and that is a strong way of saying that the Constitution allows him 5 years.
5 years.
You know.
In fact, what we are saying with the 3 years Jotna movement is, in fact, that I can quote them directly. We will bring this president by force. That means, because that is some would say that is unconstitutional because he has a 5 years mandate.
Yeah. If you use force, violence, but then I'm not suggesting to anybody what can be done. I'm not suggesting to anybody what can be, but I mean various ways of bringing down a government. I'm not suggesting to anybody, but certainly, I said, using force, which would be like a coup d'état. I think that is against the Constitution, and that is my view as a lawyer, and I'm convinced by that. And nothing.
What if the party's view is different from your view?
If the party's view is different from my view, I follow the party's view.
Even when it's unethical? For example, because you are a seasoned lawyer and you have said that. I follow
the party's view, or I express my own view, contrary that this is what the party has stated, but I disagree. But not what my own position is not what is being adopted by the party. Oh yes, I have a right to express my dissenting views.
So what would you say to critics who say UDP is behind the 3 years Jotna?
That's what I said. I said that is factious nonsense.
But if we see executive members of the UDP campaigning,
who? Name me one executive member.
I don't want to name the person because that's my own auntie.
No, please.
I say, okay, no. I'll say Honorable Nogonjai is an elected executive member of the UDP.
Yeah. I have never heard Nogonjai.
I've seen videos or audios of her saying she would support the 3 years.
I have never heard Nogonjai make any such statement. And in any case, if she does so, she makes so in her capacity as an individual. And every Gambian has a right to his opinion.
Yeah.
Just as you have a right.
What about
just as I have my right.
What about Madi Cisse?
When Madi Cisse in this place...
Serakunda.
Yeah, I know. We had a rally, I think in Wellingara. And when he made that man, I went on the podium to say, that is not UDP's position, that is Madi Cisse's position. And every individual in this country has a right to his opinion. And you cannot ascribe his opinion to that of United Democratic Party. Otherwise, you would ascribe what I have stated to be the position of United Democratic Party. Why aren't you doing that?
In fact, that's why.
Why aren't people doing that?
Right now, because that's what people are saying. Well, UDP, already have said that Barrow should rule for 5 years. So why do we need any other opinion from the UDP?
If Usenu says so in his personal capacity, and the party doesn't agree with that, why shouldn't the party say so? And if the party agrees that, why should the party come out and endorse that?
So when will the party make its position known?
Inshallah, I've stated that that is not going to be too long.
Are you worried about how this can bring violence to the country? I know you are very... you always advocate for democracy, rule of law.
I hope it doesn't bring any violence. I hope that everyone in this country behaves responsibly. I hope that those who are advocates of 3 years Jotna, I hope they behave responsibly. And I also hope that those who feel that they are the targets of 3 years judge, and I hope they also behave responsibly. That is what can avoid. Both sides have to behave in a responsible manner.
In the recent cabinet reshuffle, mini cabinet reshuffle, what we saw as observers is a president making a tactical move, bringing seasoned security officers into cabinet. For example, the appointment of defense minister, which we haven't had for the past 20 years. Also, the appointment of a former IGP, Yankuba Sonko. A lot of people criticized that because it was under his watch when he was the IGP that the paramilitaries arrested Solo Sunday. It was under his time that you and members of the executive were rounded up by the paramilitaries and arrested. He was the longest serving IGP under Yahya Jammeh. Today he is in Barrow's government. What is your reaction to that, especially for a party that had gone through a lot during that time?
Well, see, as far as Yankuba Sonko is concerned, I think I realize, I accept the fact that when we were being rounded up, he was the Inspector General of Police. And when Solo Sambeni was being arrested, he was also the Inspector General of Police. But also know that the command of the PIU was not with the Inspector General of Police, it was at the State House. We know that.
You know
and I tell you this thing, Sonko has been the IGP who has been very accommodating of UDP. Where he never turned down any of our applications for a permit. Tell you there was a situation, we wanted to organize a rally somewhere around Latrikunda Sabiji, and on a Friday, the Commissioner of Police for the area went to inspect the area. I said that it was not suitable. This was Friday after working hours. There was no means of writing to say that we want to have a change of venue and identify another venue. Mr. Diba picked up the phone. He was then in South Kenya. Picked up the phone and called Mr. Sonko and explained to him the situation in which we were. I said, look, go around and see, go around with the commissioner and see another place, identify another place, and you can go on with your meeting. No other Inspector General of Police would have done that. In fact, he risked his position. If the Jammeh knew that he did that, he would have been dismissed. So, for me, to say that, when we are arrested, he was the minister, he was the IGP, for me, it's inconsequential. Certainly it was inconsequential. And I wish him luck, and I want to congratulate him on his appointment, and I wish him luck. And I want to appeal to him that he continues to serve his country and do things the way he did when he was Inspector General of Police under very hostile conditions, under very difficult circumstances. He's a lawyer, so he should fear no dismissal. If anybody wants him to mess up anything, he should refuse it and go to the bar. He has nothing to lose. And he shouldn't allow his reputation to be soiled by we politicians.
And
that's my
advice. And before we go, I want to get your reaction on the Ministry of Justice. Obviously, has come under heavy criticism when they release the junglers after testifying at the TRRC. I know you are a victim, and your party has so many other victims, and people were concerned about that. What is your position on that?
Well, see, the Justice Minister is probably in possession of facts that you and I don't know, which influences the issue. And I think we should really, I think we should be making inquiries rather than condemning. I think one should have engaged him to say what informed your decision to have these junglers released. I mean, I want to tell you straight away that I personally frown at their release.
You frown at that?
I frown at it. Because the evidence is so fresh in the minds of people. To have them released now, I think, is really a stab, on the hearts of the victims. Because as I don't know which interviews I look, can you imagine Haruna Jammeh forced to kneel down, and this rope around his neck, and these people, pulling it as if it's in a tug of war. And he, as the lead counsel says it, his life sniffed out. It's too fresh in the minds of people. I would have waited a little bit longer, maybe 2-3 months. And we want to be law-abiding. We want to respect the constitution of this country. Maybe if I don't, because if I charge him for murder, there would be no bail.
Yeah.
But then, I would have to proceed to trial.
And then where
maybe I'm not ready with my evidence. But certainly, maybe I would have charged them for assault, simple assault, and of course, tell the judge or whoever not to release them on bail, because they are likely to abscond, because further charges may be brought against them
while the process is on.
Whilst the process is on, so that they are denied bail, and then I would be clear of not violating. This is what I think. I'm just thinking loud. I've not been practicing law for some time, so maybe I have forgotten all the fine points of it. I believe that there's this decree which allowed the Minister of Interior to detain persons for periods of not more than 90 days, subject to review, on security reasons. Maybe if the law is still in being, existent, maybe I would have for them on that. But what I say is that, after all, the Attorney General, he knows.
He has facts that we don't have.
He has facts that we don't have, and we should really not jump at the conclusion that he did the wrong thing. So we shouldn't drop, because maybe the fact that he has in his possession, if I have the same facts, I would have done the same thing as he has done. I would not have thought of these various things that I'm talking about.
Yeah. And finally, Honorable Darboe, what does the future hold for UDP?
Bright.
22 years of fighting.
Bright.
A bright.
Bright future.
Okay, a bright future.
Bright future. Yes, very bright future. You are the media person. You see what's happening in the diaspora, in the various online communication systems, and the various WhatsApp groups. You see what's happening there. And what is happening, there are cascades also in the Gambia. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but as of now, the UDP is on top. There's absolutely no doubt about that. UDP is on top. People may use their influences, their positions, but we've been used to that. We've been used to people whom I consider as brutes, who use their positions, their influence, their wealth against UDP. But then it hasn't affected our core membership. And you have said, what has been keeping those gallant women? what has been keeping those gallant women in the UDP still exists. So we are on top. We say that, you'll have people saying a lot of things, but the truth is that in all the regions of the Gambia, UDP is in the ascendancy.
Any final message to the militants, especially you're celebrating 23 years?
My final message to the militants is that I want to congratulate you all for you are the reason for UDP. If we are not for you, the militants, UDP would not have been where it is today. In the hours of great tribulations, particularly between April and December 2016, you stood out there in the rains, under the sun, defied the dictator, and made sure that you worked towards liberating the Gambia, and you have sustained, and I want to congratulate you for that. And of course, a lot of people have been supportive of us, not in the political sense. And I want to congratulate them also for standing by us during our hours of trials and tribulations. I'm talking of those eminent barristers at law, Usman Silla and Mangay, our crew, C.C. Sabali, Ami Bensouda, Rachel Mendy, Yasin Senghor. Now Justice, but formerly Mr. Omar Njai, now Justice of the Whole Court of Appeal, Sheriff Tambedo, Bori Toure, Glamin Kamara. These are people who have stood by us in our hours of need. Without them, I wonder if UDP, with determination of of our militants, whether they would have come back or would have come all this way. Because when those militants get into trouble, they are the ones who come to rescue them. And that gave them courage. Say, well, I have someone who is protective of me. So I want to also, in congratulating our militants, pay tribute to them and congratulate them for being there, for me and the Gambian people. Because being there for UDP is being there for the people of the Gambia. And, Rachel Mendy, she is very much part of me. Very much part of me. We work together at Basasa Chambers, and I've seen ladies with courage. Certainly, it's not easy to get one like Rachel and Yasin, and of course my daughter Kombe and sister Nene Cham. These are wonderful people. Their leader, Antuman, is more to me like Darboe or Momo Darboe, my brothers, or Konkoba Darboe. It's more like that to me. His professional services were not only available to me and the party, but his financial support was always there. Each time I get behind the bars, he takes complete charge of my family, providing them their everyday needs. In fact, my first arrest in 1995, my young daughter, Nafisatu, she was very fond of ice cream. And Antuman would bring her ice cream every evening. I want to say we have come this way because of people like you. Pay tribute to them. And for the rest of the militants, let us work towards 2021 or whatever date the Independent Electoral Commission declares.
Did you just say whatever day?
Yes. I said the Independent Electoral Commission declares as the date for elections. Let us be prepared, campaign, conduct responsible campaign, and make sure that when the votes are counted, there's no second round. And that is what we have tasked ourselves to do. And you militants, I'm sure you can do it. Ajas Kaina, Ajiyam Seka, Doroba, you know, Doroba in CRR North, Musa Sonko in CRR South, Amadou Kora and Famara Jabi in URR, and of course Bajamba Bojang and the rest of it in West Coast region, and Falan Sonko, you know, Namukanina, you know, in KMC and Mr. Ndao in Banjul. They can do it, and they'll do it.
And they'll do it.
They'll do it.
They'll do it.
Sure.
Honorable Wato Bantale, fereng molko dum puntu nindo wo ke monata. Na ko sai Wato sika. Politiko ba bandale ba?
Nindo wo ke monata.
Kasa ba nyika completely. Nindo ke debo ke ba man na ko.
Mbe duala ala kano ke sai ba nkoto manual bijeto. Mbe duala fala sol so si jangla. Ngame noma. Nyame. Bare yalong wo bumbanying yama ate do ko kontenti nyanola ate do ko kontenti nyanola sa misalo tajumalla honorable chief justice honorable chief justice abe chief justice yala bara mala khalifa ya mabal khalifa yala
Atelon
khalifa bansan atelon khalifa ama bal yala. So really,
Komon
kutinyana, you know, Komon kutinyana. So ning bari mbe dua kamena. Lowe sila watu wati. Wayatra na funding kewolo na dindi mbe kulu kante. Wayatra walbe do ko nyina. Nde wayatra ndebe siri for Bansan number, for Darboe, for Minto number, congratulations once again for 23 years of the party, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
And to you all watching, this was a special interview with the party leader and Secretary General of the United Democratic Party, Honorable Usainu Darboe. See you next week. Good night to you all. Bye-bye.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
No, ini bara. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What a madam?
Yeah, that's
what a madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's fine.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because they relax. So the 2 days ago, I can have used
Nila from ni say what? Nidia Nena Granville is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Mbeji andika Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungol bebe senyaring adu na bungol bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame. Until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukangwati intel kang. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know,
I so much love this place.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and what you want. Kapin jang and you to Gambia kon. Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya kumandiroke 7527218. Wale futan na website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Alright. Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.